Okay, so we are so excited for our episode of Apple Tree Telly today. I am joined by my co-host today, my beloved son, Luke Trussell, and we are interviewing who, Luke?
Mayor Tory.
It's so exciting. Mayor Tory, thank you so much for being our esteemed guest on our show today.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for doing this. You know, these are the kinds of things that have kind of brought the community together while we've been struggling with this pandemic, and I think it's just great, and it gives people something to tune into and feel a sense of belonging in their own city and their own neighborhood. So thank you for doing it. And,
well,
your able sidekick Luke there, I'm sure he's got some probably tough questions lined up. I'm a little nervous.
He does. So we're going to do something called Talkin' Six with Apple Tree. It's kind of like if you've ever seen Inside the Actors Studio, they do like a lightning round, but we keep it family friendly. And we sort of tailored it a bit towards, your role as the mayor of our great city. So I'm going to start with question number one. What is your power breakfast that you like to have before a really juicy council meeting?
Okay, well now, is this when I'm behaving properly as a proper healthy adult should do, or when I'm not behaving?
So whichever you prefer.
Well, okay, when I'm not behaving, it consists of a cup of very strong coffee, and I like coffee that's kind of bitter tasting, and so on. When I'm behaving properly, then we would add to that a banana for sure.
Oh, good.
And maybe a bit of yogurt. So that's when I'm behaving. When I'm not behaving, which I must confess is probably a majority of the time, it would just be the coffee, which is, I know every nutritionist would say that's awful and terrible, but look at me. I mean, do I look unhealthy? That's it. I answered your question truthfully.
I think you look
pay
great.
No attention to that answer. That's a bad answer.
But we know coffee. What does coffee do? It's good for your brain, right? Just a little bit opens up those brain cells, gets you focused, right, Luke? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're up.
I hope these questions get better from here.
Okay, round two. Luke, your turn.
Okay, what is your go-to grab and go fast food on busy days in the city?
I'd have to say it would be soup. I find that if I have a cup of soup, and at the city hall, they have a cafeteria, a cafe that makes really good, I think when I call it homemade, I mean, they make it, I think, from scratch. And so if I have a hearty soup with maybe some vegetables in it, it's, better for you than my breakfast that I already admitted to. And I find that it gets me through the afternoon and is not too filling. Because frankly, what I find is if I have a big lunch, I want to go to sleep at about 2:30, which is not well received if you're sitting in a council meeting or someplace like that. So it's soup would be my grab and go most days. That's what I would have at lunchtime, and I find that it fills me up and it doesn't make me too full, and it's reasonably healthy because I order fairly healthy soup compared to the cup of coffee for breakfast.
You are a nutritional role model for us.
I'm not sure about that.
Thank you so much. We'll see if we can get some dirt a little deeper in there. Okay, I'm going to ask question number three. So when we scheduled this interview, we didn't have the wonderful news that we got yesterday about the farmers markets opening, and now we get to open. So what is something that you're most excited about? I think you visited the St. Lawrence market this morning. What were you most looking forward to about getting back into shopping in farmers markets?
Well, two things. I mean, one is I really enjoy talking to the farmers, and it reminds you. I mean, I think a lot of people grow up in cities nowadays thinking maybe that the food is prepared in the back of the store and that there isn't such a thing as a farm. And so you had all these farmers there this morning from Niagara and Norfolk, because that's where they're growing like the strawberries early in the season. And there were some beautiful strawberries there, by the way, like big, fat, juicy strawberries. And I enjoy seeing that food. I mean, there's nothing like fresh food, and it's so good for people. And we have so many people in Toronto that struggle to get fresh food, and the markets offer an opportunity to do that, an opportunity to have some business for the farmers, and they play a key role in us trying to help people eat better, because we have a food security problem in the city. So I enjoy talking to the farmers. That would be my first answer. But secondly, I do enjoy seeing and buying. I came home with strawberries, asparagus. They had beautiful looking rhubarb. I didn't buy that because I didn't know what I'd do with it. But I mean, I'm not going to start making a pie, but I'll confess to that. But I enjoy the farmers because it's people, and I enjoy the food.
And I can pass along, we have a new recipe for a strawberry rhubarb cobbler that you can do on your barbecue.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll have to try that. If it's on a barbecue, I could probably get away with it.
We will pass that your way.
Hi, DeVelle Morrison here, broker with Bosley Real Estate. I'm sure, like many of you missed going to the Davisville market. I mean, what's summer without the market? So until such time that we get the market back again, I really wanted to be able to support Apple Tree Markets and Chris and Leslie. So I hope you will support them as well too and listen to the great content that they're providing until such time that we can start shopping again together. Bye.
Luke has a really very hip question for you, Mr. Tory.
Have you ever made a TikTok video?
I have only once, but I have done it, and it was at the opening of a new burger place over on Ossington. And frankly, I think at the time I did it, this was a few months ago now, I'd never even heard of TikTok. And so they explained to me what it was, and I sort of dutifully performed in this TikTok video, which has probably, fortunately, disappeared into cyberspace somewhere. So I'm now more aware of what they are, and I know it's a big thing. And, it's hard to keep up with all these different social media platforms that you're supposed to be on with all of your messages. But so I have made one, and I may never make another one. It wasn't a bad experience, but I don't know. I mean, I do these things when I'm asked to do them. And so there you are.
Maybe that's something when Mr. Tory comes to visit our farmers market, you can lure him into a TikTok dance in the apple costume, of course.
All things being equal on the health front, I'm writing it's July the 7th for the Davisville market. Am I right about that?
That's our hope. Yeah, we'll keep you.
Okay, well, I'm trying my best to be there, and I enjoy nothing more than going to these markets because you see the people who are selling the goods, and it's often I also bought some tapenade today. I bought some kind of a salsa that was homemade and made by the farmers, and they take their own produce and make them. And I'm sure at the Davisville market we'll see a lot of stuff like that. I bought a loaf of cheese bread, and fantastic homemade cheese bread with not only cheese on the crust but cheese in the middle. So all of this is going to be, I'm sure, at the Davisville market, and I'll be there to buy some stuff and to promote the fact that it's going to reopen on July the 7th, and I'll look forward to that. Fingers crossed on all the health stuff.
Well, we really appreciate that, and thanks for all your hard work on that. All right, here was the one that got a lot of excitement with Carolyn Bennett when we interviewed her. Little sort of Naked Gun-esque mishaps on some of her Zoom calls with the Prime Minister. Any Zoom call mishaps that you care to share with our viewers?
Only 2 times when I left my mic open and started talking to somebody else, but I didn't say anything, salacious or bad language or anything. I was just talking. But thank goodness, it's easy to do. People out there who haven't been doing a lot of Zoom calls or Zoom calls where they were on business and maybe where the media or other people were watching wouldn't understand necessarily that you can leave your mic open and suddenly, say something to somebody, well, that guy's a real such and such or whatever. And you should, it's just so I by and large just try not to say anything like that, whether it says you're on mute or not, because you don't know for sure. But I've had 2 times where I left my mic open and did talk, but I was just talking in that kind of way of saying, when's my turn up next? Or, where's this piece of paper or something? Nothing hard. I've had no disasters as yet. I've speculated a couple of times when I've been on these calls, which I will do right now, as to whether I'm wearing any pants right now, because you wouldn't necessarily know that. Not that you would care or the other people out there, but I've done a bit of that, but otherwise, no.
I was gonna ask you that, but I thought that might be getting a bit too personal. But yeah, we have business on top and party underneath, so no one knows any different. All right, Luke, you're gonna wrap up our Talkin' Six with the mayor. Do you want to ask him his last question here?
Sure. What's something that you're looking forward to in the new Toronto summer?
To be honest, it's just sitting on a patio. I mean, it sounds pretty ordinary, but we've been denied that. When I say denied that, we've been among those who have been denying for public health reasons. But if you think about it, I mean, the summer season is so short for us relatively. And I think we all I love like the first day in April when you can, I'll sit outside, to have a meal or whatever. And the last day in October, like I will stretch it out as long as I can. So to me, to not be able to do that, and have a beer or have a drink or a glass of wine or something. So I'm looking forward to that. And it'll be a bit different this year because the tables will be further apart and all that, but I think that will be fun. And, we just, these are small things, but you realize how important they are when you can't do them. So that's what I'm looking forward to as part of summer. And it'll come soon. People should have faith. By the time they see this, we might already be there, but if not, we should just keep our fingers crossed and keep doing the stuff we're supposed to be doing, physically distancing and wearing a mask, which I did at the market this morning. And if we do all that, brighter days lie ahead.
Well, and we will look forward to raising a glass of Ontario craft beer and cheersing you, Mr. Tory. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, Luke. Any last words?
Good luck in school, and you have a great summer now and behave yourself. I know you do all the time. You look like a good lad. But have a wonderful summer, and thank you. And I'll look forward, I hope, to seeing everybody, not just the two of you, but everybody else coming out to support the Davisville Market on July the 7th. It's a big day when you get these kind of things going, even if it's a bit late. Better late than never, as they say.
Well, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the market soon. Thank you.
For sure. Bye-bye now. Bye, Luke.
Bye.
See you later.
Scene.
Every time that we come to the market, it feels a little bit like it's not work. There's a community feel at all of our markets, and it's always unique. It's very different. So what you get at Sororan is not what you get at Dufferin, is not what you get at Davisville. It's really amazing because that's what Toronto is. Toronto has so many different micro neighborhoods all over the place, and we get to set up in 8 of them. And there is a beauty in driving around and setting up because it brings accessibility to our food. There's 3 people involved, the person who grew it, us who made it, and the person who's eating it, and we're all right there. And there's something special about that because you're not putting your food in a package and sealing it and shipping it off with a distributor. You're handing it directly to the person who's going to eat it, and next week they're going to come tell you whether they liked it or not. They might even tell you that same day. They come back over. It's amazing when someone gets something new that we've made and they come right back over and they say, that was the best thing I've ever had. A lot of people will ask us if we have a storefront and where in the city are we located, and our first answer is you're in our store. We're located right here.
If you ever plan to motor west, travel my way, take the highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, it winds from Chicago to LA, more than 2,000 miles all the way. Get your kicks on Route 66. Now you go through St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, and Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty. You'll see Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingsman, Barstow, San Bernardino. Don't you get hip to this time and tip. When you make California trip. Get your kicks on Route 66. Now you go through St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, and Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty. You'll see Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona. Don't forget Winona, Kingsman, Barstow, San Bernardino. Won't you get hip to this tiny tip when you make that California trip? Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66. Get those kicks